Gatlin Downey in the 37, bringing us to the green.
Can Mr. Collins get a run?
And a win, and Ben Crouch is going to take the win here at Pocono.
Side by side, it's going to be a lot away.
Huge push on the outside, 19.
Heading down to the stripe, it's going to be Mike Fink Jr., number 38, winning.
Moves him up. Here comes Jesse Orski to the inside.
What's up, everyone? It's your boy NSRacing95 AKA Nathan Stapleton, and welcome everyone to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the main event of 4th of July weekend here in the NIOA. It is time for the Coca Cola 600, the longest race on the season, 100 laps of action around Charlotte Motor Speedway, and it's gonna be a good one here tonight at Charlotte on 4th of July. We have a ton of patriotic paint schemes, as you always see 3 of them inside the top 4, and it's going to be a good one, 100 laps, and the last race before the All-Star race next weekend, and for some of these guys, it could be their last chance of locking themselves into the All-Star race if they win here tonight. I'm not alone for this one. I'm joined by none other than Napa Fan himself up here in the booth.
Yeah, it should be a fun race here, 100 laps. Going to be here for a little while here tonight, but it should be fun. Great racetrack here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Unlike in real life, we're going to have some great racing, and it's really anybody's game once the green flag flies.
Indeed, you will 2, 3, and even 4 wide at times here tonight. And yes, you heard me right, 4 wide. In testing, we saw a bunch of 4 wide, and we will see that once again here tonight for 100 laps. Last time out, it was Roger Wright gaining win number 3 in 7 races on the season. So Roger Wright showing that he's looking really strong to defend his championship in the Red Bull Cup Series. Jake Galloway has a 29-point gap over Noah Clifton. Diego Yepes is 51 points back in 3rd. Shane Winslow is 4th, 64 points back. Brett Sealer is in 5th. The Atlanta 72 points back. Roger Wright is in 6th, 74 points back. Mitchell Collins is in 7th, 76 points back. And then we have a tie for 8th between Fergus and Minnick, 77 points back. And rounding out the top 10 is DJ Reed, 82 points back. So, one last thing as the cars get fired off. The 4 drivers that made it through the part-time qualifying race earlier tonight were Logan Williams, Nick Kennedy, Jacob Thibodeau, who won the 12th race earlier tonight as well, and Tristan Allen. Make sure that all 42 cars get rolling off, and it looks like they will. So, 100 laps here tonight. I believe that's 150 miles, and we are in for a treat here tonight for the longest race on the season. Here is the top 10 for the Coca Cola 600. Mitchell Collins is on the pole, and last time is the point leader, Jake Galloway, Noah Clifton in 3rd, and Johnny Garner in 4th. Row number 3, we have the 20 of Carl Friesen and the 65 of Rob Evans. Row number 4, we have Angel Overa and Stephen Collin in the 47. And rounding out the top 10 is Brett Sealer and Nick Kennedy. So Napa, what do you think we will see here tonight, 100 laps? If you can, who do you think will win this long race?
There are a lot of guys in this field. I think we're going to see a lot of green flag runs. We're going to see a few wrecks tonight, but long green flag runs are going to happen in this race. The pit strategy is going to come into play. I'm looking at Angel Oliveira, number 18 there in 7th. That's a good place to start when it comes to a race like this, so watch out for Oliveira there on number 18 here tonight.
Not a bad prediction whatsoever. Here we go, the longest race on the season. Happy birthday, America. 4th of July night, and we are going for the Coca Cola 600 at Charlotte. Oh, that was really close at the line, but it was Mitchell Collins that will lead lap number 1 here tonight at Charlotte, and they are all the way 3 wide in this pad. They're gonna get crazy at the start, but then once these tires get old, then we will see a little bit more spread out.
We got
Oh, there they go! Oh my goodness!
21, and I will say that might not bring out a caution. I'm not even joking. Oh, there is a yellow. That, oh my goodness. Francois Chastain. Gonna be a little dizzy after that one.
Oh my goodness, he barreled from the exit of turn 2 all the way to turn 3. A wild flip for Francois Chastain. And unfortunately, he's gonna be out on lap number 2 here at Charlotte. They were 4 wide in the very back, so that's the good thing. They were 4 wide and they were in the back, but unfortunately, Francois Chastain is gonna be done early on in the Coca Cola 600. Meanwhile, it was the Aussie with a patriotic paint scheme that's kind of contradicting things, but Noah Clifton out front and won the race back to the line. Will anyone decide to pit? And looks like they will on lap number 2.
Tires might be a big factor here at this track. It's an older surface, and that could become a factor. But a tough break there for Francois Chastain. I mean, 100 lap race, and you go flipping on lap 2. Not exactly the lap you want to get knocked out. You don't want to get knocked out on any lap, of course, but especially that early on. Definitely not a good run there for the driver number 21.
Yeah, that is a unfortunate break for Francois Chastain. Now we have to keep an eye out on pit road because in testing we did see a little bit of contact, but hopefully we don't see any pit. Oh no, Clifton with a fast stop. There it is.
Yeah, gonna have a bit of. Oh, he's done.
He's probably gonna
damage. He's gonna back it back in and repair it. I think. Yeah, these are really tight pit stalls here at Charlotte. That's a really tough break there for Galloway in the 11. Had a good starting position, but he's going to fall back. And not only that, he's the points leader, too. But when you get everybody on the pit lane, one of the tightest pit lanes on the circuit, you're just going to have issues like that sometimes. And tough break there for the driver, the number 11.
Hopefully that does not happen too much here tonight. But unfortunately, that's going to probably put Galloway down a lap early on here in the Coca Cola 600. And with that being said, let's go and see what happened to Francois Chastain flipping wildly on lap number 2 here at Charlotte and for the Season 3 Coca Cola 600. This is what happened off of turn number 2. Josh Williamson in the number 43 went 4 wide off of turn number 2 on lap number 2. And he turned Francois Chastain into the inside wall. This was a big hit, let alone. And then Josh Williamson, this was just a little tap on the right side, and that was enough to flip Francois Chastain over. And then the rest was history. Barrel from halfway down the backstretch all the way to turn number 3. And once he started barreling and flipping, he could not stop.
Well, kind of obvious he can't stop there. Yeah, had a good camera angle for that. That was kind of neat. It wasn't too neat for Francois Chastain, but not every day you see a wreck like that here at Charlotte. I mean, we had the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, New Era Cup Series here back in May, and I don't think we had anything on that level with our wrecks, but tough break. Thankfully, it was only just one guy who's going to get knocked out from those. Not a huge wreck, but a tough break for the driver, the number 21.
And not really wanted to happen here on lap number 2 in the Coca Cola 600.
Yeah, it almost looks like Francois Chastain moved up on the 32 just a little bit there, and Josh Williamson had the hole, and Francois Chastain came down on him. Yeah, that was a interesting ride, Like I said, don't get that every day here at Charlotte, but we got it here in this one, and it's gonna take out the 21 here from the Coca Cola 600.
A tough break for Francois Chastain, but after pit stops Noah Clifton, he won the race back to the line, and he will lead us back to the green here at Charlotte in the Coca Cola 600. And let's go ahead and get back to the restart here at Charlotte. Welcome back here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We will go back green on lap number 7 of 100, and Noah Clifton will be out front, drawing Garner in second with a little bit of left side damage. I don't know how much that's going to affect them here in this one. Nick Kennedy in 3rd, Stephen Collin in 4th, and Logan Williams, the winner of the part-time qualifying race an hour ago. He is in 5th. Jake Galloway is 1 lap down. He is actually he's caught up with the field, so he won't be a factor too much. And obviously,
Oh, actually, he will be a factor. Gonna be resitting on the inside there.
and,
Honestly, that's a good thing. Let him get ahead of those guys and then not be an issue there.
yeah, Jake Galloway got a jump on the field. Why now he wants a quick caution? Because honestly, I think he's mostly okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we get a caution right now, he stays ahead of the leaders. He'll get back on the lead lap, and as you get back on this thing, it's hard to work your way back on the lead lap in this game, and Galloway's going to try to do it, but Clifton, Gardner, they're going to have a run here eventually. They're helping each other out, and I think they're going to get around that 11 here soon.
And unfortunately, Jake Galloway, he tried. He wanted a quick caution, but he's not going to get it, and he's going to go back one lap down. But the thing is, he doesn't look like he's that slow, so maybe he might be able to get back up there and get his lap back once again. But here comes Johnny Garner and the car. Oh! Oh, Jesus.
And a big wreck there through the corner there.
Patrick Smith, Elijah Gordon, Mark Davison, and Bronson making the number 12. Two early crashes here tonight at the 600. I don't know what these guys are doing, but two early cautions here at Charlotte, and I have a feeling it might have been for another 4-wide situation. Tough boy for Elijah Gordon, Patrick Smith, Mark Davison, Bronson Minute. Looks like it was only a 4-car spin though, so not a bad crash, but man, a wild start to this Coca Cola 600 here tonight.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure Jake Galloway got away with that. Nope, he didn't. I was about I forgot he actually did get past. There was a tough break there for Galloway because, he had the quick caution, but he just got passed late in the going there by Clifton and Gardner there. So they're going to come down again. They want to make sure they have fuel. They want to get a full run here, but not even a tenth of the way through this race. Already had 2 cautions. We might be here a while here tonight.
Hopefully not, but the way that these guys keep on racing, it might be a long night here at Charlotte. Hopefully no one gets hit on pit wall like what happened to Jake Galloway here. Hopefully. And it looks like Wright will win the race off of pit road in the number 19, the most recent winner in the Rebel Cup Series. Just double check to see that we don't have any contact. That's the right off pit road, but it looks like we are safe this time. Or maybe not. 24 and Andrew Miller. So that's gonna hurt John Andrews. Now John Andrews is probably gonna do a Jake Galloway and go 1 lap down. This is one of the harder pit roads like you said, Napa, and unfortunately it's bitten 2 people already here at Charlotte, but with that being said, let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the second caution of the night here in the Coca Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Off of turn number 4, outside on the roll, he just went up the racetrack into the 51, clipped his corner panel, and they both saved it, but then Mark Davison, he just did not try to slow down, he didn't really try to turn either. He just went through the synthetic turf, and in the infield he went. Luckily he missed the angled wall, but he did hit a angled wall, and that
So he didn't actually miss the angled wall. Oh, he missed that one.
yeah, but not that one. And then
Nope.
Back up the track and nowhere to go for Bronson Minute, Elijah Gordon, or Patrick Smith. Luckily, I think it was only those 4 drivers that got involved.
The 10 might have.
Oh.
Yeah, 17 got a piece of it there. Yeah, Foyle's with a bit of damage, but nothing major on his machine. That could have actually been a lot worse than what it was, but thankfully it was only those 4 guys essentially.
Yeah, that could have been a lot worse. Luckily, only 5 drivers were involved, but unfortunately, another crash here early on in the Coca Cola 600.
Yeah, number 6 machine there. Alexander Rowe, not really like Alexander Rowe to overshoot a corner like that. He's a very experienced driver, but Mark Davidson got right into him. A couple of the guys are going to be in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series chase. That could make it interesting over there with that little incident there, but tough break for those guys. Mark Davidson, Time Machine, Patrick Smith going to be out of the race here from Charlotte.
Following along with the 3 of Elijah Gordon.
Oh, well, he did hit Patrick Smith there.
Just nowhere to
Worked
go.
out too well for him.
Pretty much all of those drivers just got blindsided going into turn number 1 by that number 51. So it's a tough break, but Noah Clifton won the race back to the line, but during pit stops, Roger Ray got a fast pit stop, and the most recent runner in the Red Bull Cup Series will lead us back to the win in the Coca Cola 600. And let's go and get back to the restart here at Charlotte. Welcome back here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We will go back green on lap number 13 of 100. And Jake Galloway and John Anders will be 1 lap down. And Patrick Smith is 2 laps down. And he's actually going to go back on the racetrack in the number 10. So that's going to be interesting to see how he performs on the racetrack. And the 3 cars out are Mark Davidson, Bronson Minnick, and Elijah Gordon. And out front is Roger Wright out front, Noah Clifton in 2nd, DeLillo in 3rd, Osman Harmon in 5th, well 4th, William Block in 5th, Stephen Collin in 6th, Nick Kennedy in 7th, Wright Quayle in 8th, Bradley Weem in 9th, and Diego Yepes in 10th. Hopefully these guys got that stuff out of the system, and we will go back green with Roger Wright out front on lap number 13 here at Charlotte.
This time, Jake Galloway's not going to get the run on the inside lane. Oh, look at Clifton there. They make it 3 wide for the race lead. He's going to take it away from Roger Ray.
Clifton has a bad fast race car in that 00 machine. He's been super strong and very consistent all season long. And he, so far, looks to have one of the best cars all night. Only 13 laps in.
Yeah, Clifton looks to be the strongest guy so far in this race. Definitely a good run for him right there. Look at Zach DeLow in the 8. He's going to take 2nd. They're 3 wide for 3rd. You got Stephen Colin there in the 47 to the inside of the 24 machine. John Andrews, I think Andrews is a lap down.
Yeah, John Andrews is.
He's got the damage there, but
yeah, he is one lap down.
Coming pretty strong right now.
Yeah, Andrews is 1 lap down, and hopefully they can get by that 24 AOK. He's definitely slower than Jake Galloway. Not as slow as a normal lap car would be, like Patrick Smith. And
that could be a factor later on, because if we have a long green flag run, they're definitely going to catch up to Patrick Smith, and that could definitely cause another accident if they're not careful, of course.
And the fact that Patrick Smith is stuck in 3rd gear, not even going 170, that is gonna be scary when we catch up to him. But with this, Stephen Collin come from up to 2nd now in the 47. Nick Kennedy in the 27 up to 3rd, and a battle for 4th between DeLillo and Weem.
Good run here for the 22 machine, Bradley Ream. Had a good day earlier today in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series, and he's going to move up to the 4th position there. And Kennedy's going to try to make a move on Stephen Colin for 2nd. Good run to the inside for the driver number 27.
Nick Kennedy, I'm pretty sure, making his 3rd start on the season in the Red Bull Cup Series through the qualifying race, so why not make it into the 600 and maybe have a shot at the race win? Looking pretty strong for that part-time driver, but no one is stronger than Noah Clifton out front at Charlotte, getting close to the 1/5 mark in the Coca Cola 600.
Yeah, we're still really early on in this race. Now it's on board. This is their longest green flag run of the night. But only 17 laps in here. Only about a 5th of the way through. Going to be a 5th of the way through here in 3 laps. But Clifton seems to have a strong car, but I think if, the NOFSRL Coke 600s were any, telling sign, just because you're dominant doesn't mean you're going to win. And it's a long race, like I said, and you got to be up front at the end to have a shot at winning this thing, because who knows, Clifton could get knocked out in the wreck. I mean, we saw what happened to Davidson earlier on. Got spun off there by Alex in a row. That could happen to anybody at any time on this racetrack.
Yeah, this version is fairly fun, multiple grooves, but it can bite you in the wrong time, or at the wrong time, and take you out just like that. Stephen Collins trying to get to the inside of Nick Kennedy to try to take second back from Kennedy. A good battle between these two drivers, and right now Chevy's on 1, 2, 3, 4. I haven't really seen that yet this season. It's been mostly Joe Gibbs Racing. But right when I say that, speaking of Joe Gibbs Racing, there's two of them right in the little group right there, Jake Galloway and Carter Friesen.
Yeah, good run there for the number 11 machine of Jake Galloway, trying to put those guys on the inside so he can get to the front. But you know, he's trying to hang with these guys, get his lap back. He's got the speed in that race car, and we're just going to have to see if he can get back and move that. But like I said, a long race for Galloway. We're just going to have to see if he can get back up there. But Tristan Allen with the inside. You know, I just realized, too, when you're showing the points here, that Tristan Allen is up to, I think, 30th in points, even though he's only run 4 races so far this year. So great run there for Tristan Allen, and he's definitely got a fast car, and he's up front once again, inside the top 5 right now, the number 40.
Yeah, and every start that Tristan Allen has made, he has been bad fast. He can't make the chase because he hasn't made every start if he wins, but he might end up getting a top 30 in points at the end of the season, even though we are only 8 races in after tonight. But Tristan Allen, one of the best part-time drivers this season, up to 5th place, and here comes Rob Evans in the 65, one of the rookies, trying to get by Tristan Allen.
Yeah, Rob Evans doing a good job in that 65 machine. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't he one of the guys up front in Chicagoland last time around?
I think so. I think.
He had a good run there. And this is a similar track. It's 1.5 miles, similar surface, a little bit different banking here, but still, you know, Rob Evans doing pretty good on these 1.5 mile racetracks so far.
Yeah, Rob Evans and Johnny Garner, both Evans Garner Motorsports drivers were up front at Chicagoland, so maybe that team is really good at these 1.5 miles, so we just have to wait and see. But Noah Clifton dominating right now here at Charlotte, and we are gonna catch up with Patrick Smith and maybe in one more lap. So that he's not had a good season so far, but Patrick Smith, he's gonna go the second lap down here very soon. But now that we are on our longest green flag run, hopefully these guys can settle it back down when they catch up to Patrick Smith. But if they go 3 wide like that when we catch up to the 10, then chaos is going to happen. But if they go double file, it would be just fine.
Yeah, you got Brett Sierra there on the inside of those guys back in there. Stephen Collins now closing in on Noah Clifton here. Haven't had much passing up front for the race lead quite yet, but I think it takes a little while to kind of wind up that pass, and Colin might have an advantage here once they catch up to Patrick Smith right now.
And Patrick Smith is going to get out of the way, at least try to, the season 1 champion, trying to get out of the way from as many guys as possible. And Stephen Cohen in that 47, he began the season upside down at Daytona, but ever since then he's been red hot. One of the more consistent rookies to start the season in the Red Bull Cup Series. And looks like we should be fine here with Patrick Smith for the most part, as long as they don't go 3 and 4 wide trying to get by him.
Yeah, these guys have thankfully settled it down enough. You get the 9 and the 18 moving to the inside of the 10 right there. Angel Rivera doing a good job in this race. Picked to win, currently in the 7th position right now. So, like I said, a long race. Could see a lot of these guys. And in 37, another guy we really haven't seen much of yet, Shane Wesloff there in the 37 inside the top 10. And you also got the number 20 of Carter Friesen up here as well. Of course, Carter Friesen had a good day yesterday in Indianapolis in the Turkey Hill Series. Got his 2nd straight win over there. So maybe that momentum will carry over here. And you got Alexander Rowe. I mean, Alexander Rowe, very experienced driver over on the NOFSRL side, and I would not be surprised if he had a good day here at Charlotte.
Yeah, Alexander Rowe, he's had a pretty solid rookie season in the Red Bull Cup Series. Not the best, but not the worst either. Trying to get some momentum here in the Red Bull Cup Series. And right now, the top 5 have broken away. Actually, just the top 4 have broken away from 5th place. So a full car breakaway right now here at Charlotte, and thankfully that this is the longest green flag one that we've had all night long. 15 going on 16 laps. And the free one that was about 32, 33 laps, something like that. So we could see pit stops about lap 40 something, 45, something like
That
that.
sound about right. Which is, it's a good thing that they had those cautions there, and I think that's why they came down to top off, because if we went green the whole way through, that's splitting the race up into thirds, and we could have ended up with a fuel mileage race at the end. But with it offsetting like that, I think we'll be good to go where we don't have a fuel mileage race. And then again, we can end up with another caution. That could shake things up. But right now, these guys have settled down. They've settled in their positions and kind of riding it out until that first cycle of green flag pit stops.
And with this version of Charlotte, the tires do get old really fast. Because in testing, they went based off of what they started to what they ended when they pitted, they were 2 or 3 seconds slower than the fastest lap. So tires are going to be a big factor always slowing. But then again, once we get older tires, then the racing will get better. So it kind of creates a positive and a negative effect here at Charlotte.
Yeah, the tire wear is definitely going to be a factor, and I definitely would imagine once these guys come down the pit lane, they're all going to be taking tires as well. So another thing they got to be careful about, though, is coming down the pit lane. If they don't come down correctly, it could end up with a wreck. I mean, we saw it happen in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series Coke 600, and it ended up with completely different players up front because of that, because those first guys who come down, they get trapped a lap down, and there's nothing they can do about it once that caution comes out. So we'll just have to see how that all shakes up, but hopefully they can come down the pit lane cleanly here in the next 10 laps.
Hopefully that's the case. We don't want any harmless shenanigans, I should say, going onto pit road. But so far,
it wouldn't necessarily be harmless if there were shenanigans going down there. Knock a few guys out if that happened.
Yeah, but how about Brett Seal, the Atlanta winner, on a very similar racetrack to Charlotte Motor Speedway? Pretty much one of its twins. Pretty much self to say. But Brett Seal in 5th in that Patriot Napa car, trying to chase down the top 4.
We'll have to see what Brett Sear can do here, running in the 9th position, but there's a big gap now. I definitely think we got comers and goers in this race. Definitely have our strongest cars and our weakest cars in this race, and those top 4, they're all working together pretty well there. Clifton, Colin, Kennedy, and Rob Evans. If it stays green, everything kind of cycles through. I think it might be one of those 4 guys going the victory lane here tonight, but a third of the way through this race here at Charlotte. Noah Clifton's led the most laps so far here tonight in the Coke 600.
Yeah, Noah Clifton, I believe he's in the top 3 in points if I remember right. So he's had a really great sophomore season, and this would be something if he can win the Coca Cola 600 here at Charlotte. If I go through the field of first, so the first non-Chevy is all the way in 10th with Carl Friesen. So right now Chevy's at 1 through 9 right now at Charlotte. So Chevy has apparently figured something out here tonight, because they are dominating here at Charlotte. And speaking of dominating, battle for second between Kennedy and Colin.
Yeah, Nick Kennedy, uncharted driver here, looking for a shot at a race win. Don't see the uncharters win that much this season, but looking for a strong run here, and he's to the inside for second. We'll have to see if he can make that pass, and we haven't seen many passes as of late. It's mainly because the tires are worn out, but see them going side by side. That's allowing Clifton to pull away even further for this race lead, so that's exactly what Clifton wants to see in his rearview mirror. Those guys going side by side for second.
Yeah, that's exactly not only what Clifton wants, but also Brett Sealer. That's what he wants as well, because the last 2 laps when they went side by side, he closed in a bunch that number 9 for Hendrick Motorsports, and he's gonna have a shot at getting to the top 3 here at Charlotte. And the interesting thing is that we've been caution free since our second caution, and it's been pretty calm since then. And it's honestly surprising of how spread out the field has gotten, but that's mostly because of the tire wear. But from 7th on the way back, it is more tires. So the top 5, top 6 are just really strong right now here at Charlotte.
Yeah, a lot of horsepower. Brett Sears going to join these guys, though. So that top 5, I think, Sears got a fast car in the number 9 machine. And, in the real-life Coke 600, that number 9 machine was pretty strong as well. We all know what happened there. And I'm still salty about that. But still, Brett Sears with a good run in this one. And even at 71 there, Logan Williams starting to close in. Once these guys kind of get away from that second pack, they actually seem to gain a little bit more speed and close back into the front pack. So it's almost seeming, and this is kind of contrary to how it should be, but almost seeming like when you're in a pack, you go a little bit slower. Just a simple observation there. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but you see, oh, we got 3 wide. Well, that might be why they're going slower. Side by side right there. That's going to slow them down. Rob Evans with a bold move there for second. It's going to make it easier and easier for Noah Clifton to pull away with this one.
Yeah, right now, that is exactly what Noah Clifton wants, but the opposite of what everyone else wants. But now, oh my goodness, Brett Sealer, he's going to have a massive one, and he might do it what Rob Evans did, and maybe take the race lead away.
He's looking. Gonna push Rob Evans past Stephen Colin here. And I mean, they're pulling out. You know, they're definitely letting Clifton pull away with this one. That's gonna bring in Logan Williams as well to this lead battle. He's closed in by 3/10 there, so it's gonna be interesting. Especially, we're gonna have green flag pit stops here very soon, and those guys going side by side. You know, it's gonna be a little bit interesting to see how they can make it down the pit lane. But they're still side by side for a second there between the 65 and the 47. And Rob Evans, Stephen Colin. Going to open the door for Ciro at some point to make a move, but he's waiting patiently behind these guys. Good run on the outside there for Stephen Colin. The outside lane starting to come in with these tires getting worn.
Yeah, we've seen it all week long in the IOA yesterday and today, that once these tires get old, they end up being really good on that top side. And speaking of pit stops, Noah Clifton is in.
And they're going to have a side-by-side battle for this lap right here, and that could be a pretty sure that's a bonus point for the championship. Not entirely sure.
Yeah, that's a bonus point.
Yeah, so we're going to go to Stephen Colin, who edged out Rob Evans at the line right there. But a lot of guys coming down, and now this is where you got to be careful, because if you make a mistake entering the pit lane, caution comes out. It's going to hurt a lot of people on the racetrack, and they're going to be too happy with you. But Stephen Colin, the race leader, this could help Colin out, being single file, getting that clean air. We'll have to see where it comes out in relation to everybody else once the cycle ends. Brett Sear now going to take the race lead, and Rob Evans going to stay with him.
Making sure that oh boy,
ooh,
that was close.
Right there. That was yeah, Evan Hunter. I think he was trying to come down but couldn't make it.
And contact between Bobby Fraser and Daniel Voiles, they were 3 wide going on to pit road, and unfortunately that happened to the 17. Luckily, we didn't see a crash right there. I thought we would. We all know what happened at Las Vegas during pit stops with Ben Watson and Carl Friesen when they had a close moment off of turn number 4. But it looks like we are going to be clean and green during pit stops here at Charlotte for the first round of green flag pit stops of the night.
And looks like Noah Clifton got a pretty good advantage there. And we'll have to see where Stephen Colin comes in relation to him and all these guys. But Clifton, the first guy off of the first group of guys who came down the pit lane. So, let's see, you got the rest of these guys coming off right now. There's Stephen Colin, the 47. He's going to lose a little bit of time right there. How about Shane Wensloff there in the 37, if I'm not mistaken? I'll have to wait for this to cycle through, but I believe he might be on the lead lap now in second once this whole thing cycles through.
We have to wait and see. Shane Wensloff,
Yeah, he will be second once it cycles through there. He's going to be 9th at the moment. A few guys have yet to finish their stops, and that lap already started. But next time I will definitely see that 37 in the second position. So great stop there out of Shane Wensloff. Not entirely sure where they were. I think they were in the back half of the top 10. And now up to the second position and less than a second behind, I believe. Our race leader, Noah Clifton, will have to see if he can get around him for the race lead here in the next few laps.
Yeah, Shane Wensloff, we saw him in the top 10, top 15 before pit stops, but that team got one heck of a pit stop. And he moved up all the way up to second, 0.4 of a second behind Noah Clifton. And now after pit stops, the top 10 is Noah Clifton, Shane Wensloff, Stephen Collins, both JTG Dooley Racing cars are second and third now. John Andrews, he is still a lap down. Wyatt Quayle moved up into fourth now in the 15. And his teammate Nick Kennedy is in 5th, so teammates are really strong right now inside the top 10. Logan Williams in 6th, Friesen in 7th. But Stewart lost a couple of positions in 8th. Where did Diego Yepes come from in the 52? He's in 9th after pit stops, and then Christian Vargas out of nowhere. He's 10th after green flag pit stops.
Yeah, good run for those guys. And, you know, we had some comers and goers on the cycle. Wenzloff, I think the biggest of them all right there in the number 37, and he's on the back bumper of Clifton. Looks like he might get the run here. He can peek down to the inside, have a shot, but he's going to be patient right now. Stay behind Clifton for the time being.
We are not even halfway through this race. 3 laps till halfway. But still a lot of time for a mistake to happen and a lot of time for another caution to happen. But right now, the way that these guys are racing, we might go caution free in this race to the end. But hopefully we don't. I don't know. It's a split decision if I want another caution or not. But still a lot of time. 52 laps to go in the Coca Cola 600 and 52 laps left in the longest race on the season.
And Wenzloff has a run, and you mentioned, you know, you don't want another caution in this race. I think there's going to be one more stop in this race. We've got 60 laps to go. Fuel run about 33, 34 laps. So, yeah, it's a one-stop race. But if we get a caution, it'll become a two-stop race, just like that. So we'll have to see how it all goes down for these guys. But, you know, definitely an interesting race. You know, it's what happens in these longer races. The field spreads out. But, we got a good battle for the race lead. Wenzloff keeps on looking. It just can't quite get the run on Clifton for this race lead. A dominating performance right now for the 00. He's got a strong car there.
And no, Clifton, he's definitely going to get the most laps led if he can get past halfway. I don't think he's led every single lap, but he's led it almost all of the laps. And most likely, Clifton's going to get another bonus point for leading the most laps. One thing I'm noticing about Clifton, he's running about half a lane to a lane higher in lane 4, and then Wenzloff is running right there on the bottom, and he keeps on closing in to Clifton, but then in 1 and 2, Clifton gains that gap right back. So it's a chess game between the top two.
It definitely is, but they are basically keeping their same positions right here. We're halfway in the Coke 600. Definitely an interesting one so far. Let's see if that second pack closes in at all in these top two. There's the move. I think he might get it this time.
Not if Patrick Smith has anything to say about it, or will Shane Wenzloff be able to use a pick on him. Going into turns 3 and in turn 1 and 2, and he will. So for only the second time tonight, we have a different leader out front. Shane Wenzloff out front in the Coca Cola 600.
Yeah, but I think Clifton might stay right with him here, have a shot, and that might bring in these guys. You got Stephen Cole and Brett Sear back here, Wyatt Quayle as well, number 52, Diego Pez, good run for him, Carter Friesen, Logan Williams, and Nick Kennedy all in that pack right there. And then you got the 95 a little ways off there in 10th. That's Christian Vargas currently inside the top 10. A lot of those guys we really haven't seen much of yet in this race. But it's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes up. If we get that second pack to close in on our leaders, it could definitely open up on who can win this race. They got to get around Patrick Smith, though, so that's going to be interesting. But if these guys continue the battle for the race lead, could be seeing some other guys in the picture for this race lead here in the Coke 600.
And for the past couple of laps, this second pack is going 2, 3, 4 tenths faster than that top two. So if these guys can't get by Patrick Smith, okay. They almost didn't right there, but it looks like they will. And this pack is mostly going to stay intact, being led by Stephen Cohen.
It was 2 seconds the last lap, 1.92 this time, and they're slowly eating in on that lead. And now that they don't have Patrick Smith in between them anymore, that's going to really help out those guys and get that slipstream. Oh yeah, they really closed in that time. 3 tenths nearly for Stephen Cohen onto the race leaders.
And we talked about having our third different race leader tonight. Well, that did not last long. Noah Clifton back out front here at Charlotte on that number 55 and the Coca Cola 600.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think Noah Clifton has the strongest car, but with how this race can play out, I wouldn't necessarily give him the race victory quite yet. Ourselves 45, I believe, laps to go in this race, so gonna have to see if he can hold off. Gotta remember, still another pit stop left to go in this race. These guys are coming in. Brett Sear gonna go ahead and take third away from Stephen Cohen. He wants to be the guy who ends up reaching the back bumper of Wenzloff here in the few laps if they can close in, but they've been eating away at that lead the past few laps. I think they're gonna close in eventually.
And the thing about Brett Sear, we saw this happen to him in the second half of the first green flag one. They he was able to close in with the top 2 just like that. And now on the second green flag one after pit stops, he is right back up to third where he was. So Brett Sear, it looks like he has a good long one car, I should say, on old tires than some of these other drivers. And back for the race lead, Winslow, he has something figured out in 3 and 4, but he can get almost past him and get the door on the inside, but he keeps on getting shut the door on by Noah Clifton.
Now you look at that gap from third onto the race leader. It's 1.1 seconds for Brett Sear. Sear's actually pulling away from that pack behind him. He might be getting a bit of a toe off of Winslow ahead of him there. So Sear definitely has a strong long run car, like you said, and I would imagine he's going to be battling for this race lead here in the next few laps.
Most likely so. Brett Sear, one of the better cars on the racetrack, and let me just say this, I'm really happy that 4 patriotic cars are on 1, 2, 3, 4, not being biased, but I'm a huge fan of red, white, and blue colors, especially on like 4th of July. So it would be really cool to see a red, white, and blue color go to victory lane here tonight at Charlotte. But it's still 41 laps to go, 42 laps to go here at Charlotte.
Yeah, it's less than a second now for Brett Sear. You can see him in the frame, so imagine Sear's going to be on the back bumper of Winslow here soon. 2 more tenths of a second chopped off the race lead there. But the rest of the guys, they haven't closed in like Sear has, so Sear definitely has the strongest car. And we'll have to see if Sear can get to the race lead before the next cycle. Lap 60 of 100 here. Have ourselves 40 laps to go next time by. Next cycle going to be here in about 15 laps, I say, roughly, when these guys are going to come down next. And that'll take them to the end of the race.
And that pit stop will most likely be the most important stop of the day, assuming that we don't have a caution after they pit. So that will ultimately determine if who will have a good shot at the race win here in the Coca Cola 600. The top 3 are by far some of the fastest cars on track, but I think the fastest car on track is Brett Sear in that number 9 machine, now trying that second lane in 3 and 4.
Yeah, Brett Sear, every single lap here, he's been closing in. He's starting to really get that draft off of Winslow. And I got to give a lot of credit, though, to Winslow. He's been staying right behind Clifton. And even though it's not helping them pull away from Sear, I think Sear just simply has the best car on the track at this point. You know, he's not making it any worse by battling with him. He's actually helping him out here. And they got to realize, too, they still have another pit stop left to go. As long as Winslow is right there on the back bumper of Clifton once that cycle begins, he's going to have a shot at winning this race. And obviously we saw what he did on that first cycle of pit stop. So Winslow definitely could get the advantage on the cycle. And if he can get like a 2-second advantage on Clifton because of that pit stop, which is essentially what he did on the field that last time around, I would imagine Winslow could be in a good position to possibly win this race. So he knows that. He doesn't need to battle Clifton too hard. Save up his stuff, have a good pit stop, and have a shot at winning the Coke 600 here on July 4th.
Obviously a big time day. It's been a big time week in the ILA. Multiple races stretched from Wednesday to Saturday, and it all led up to tonight in the Coca Cola 600, and it has not disappointed up to this point. The top 3 have a pretty good gap over 4th place of Wyatt Quayle, and I think Brett Sear is just so freaking fast that that second pack was not able to close in nearly as fast, and they still haven't been able to close in to the top 3. So Brett Sear just has.
Brett Sear was actually carrying that second pack there. That's probably why they were going so fast. They've kept it about 1.6 seconds this whole run here, and they're actually losing some time now. I think it's difficult to get her. Well, maybe not. Brett Sear going to get to the inside of Shane Winslow right there. I will say it's difficult to pass Noah Clifton. It's going to be interesting to see what Sear can do once he gets to the back bumper of the 00 here. I think another big thing to think about here, you know, we almost had a wreck when that first cycle of the green flag pit stops was commencing right there. You know, they got to do it again if we have another wreck. These guys here, Clifton, Sear, and Winslow, they could end up getting stuck on the tail end of the lead lap, and it's somebody else's race to win.
Very, very true. It's not over until the checker flag falls, and in this case, it's not over until pit stops are done, because we could easily see a crash during pit stops and change this whole race upside down.
Yeah, watch out for Sierra, though. He got a really good run off the corner there. I think he's going to move to the inside, try to take the lead away from Clifton.
Trying to have our 4th different race lead of the night, and possibly the 2nd best car of the night, or maybe even the best car of the night. Brett Sierra trying to take the race lead away from Noah Clifton, but they are still side by side going into turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, I think Sierra's going to have the advantage there and take it away. He made that look easy. Wensloff was behind Clifton that whole time. And then again, whoa, boy, that was close right there. I almost thought he was going to clip him like we saw earlier with Rowe and Davidson. But like I said, I think Wensloff wasn't necessarily trying as hard to get around Clifton during that run. Sierra had the fastest car, and he was just going to go ahead and take it away. And he is pulled away from that 0-0. We'll have to see. Number 9 should have won the Coke 600 in real life. See if it gets some redemption here tonight.
Very possible for Brett Sierra. Of course, he won at Atlanta, a very similar track, kind of to this track of Charlotte. So we have to wait and see. Maybe mile and a half are good for Brett Sierra, and especially for these qualifiable mile and a halves. We just have to wait and see. And now Noah Clifton is starting to break away from Shane Winslow, so I honestly think that these top 2 cars are the best 2 cars on the racetrack all night long here at Charlotte. No question.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the pit stops go, though. If either one of them have a bad pit stop, they're going to have to work their way through the field again. And we saw how long it took Sierra to move his way to the lead. They might not have enough time after the cycle to work their way back to the front if they lose a few seconds on the pit stop. So this next cycle is going to be critical. It's going to determine who wins this race, no doubt about it. Next time by, it's 30 laps to go.
This race, ever since we went back green on lap 15, lap 20, it has flown on by. And just like that, we have 30 laps to go this time by. And the question is, when will we see pit stops? I would assume within 5-10 laps. But I could be wrong. No one's pitting yet, so it's probably not going to...
Roughly going to be 70, lap 75 to lap 77, I think. Roughly. And obviously from that point on, they won't have to make another stop in this race. So fuel mileage won't come into play, which is good. But watch out for these guys up front. See how their pit stops go, because it's going to be a critical moment. Of course, those crew chiefs, they're definitely thinking, what do we do here? Do we go ahead? We take 4 tires, take 2 tires? But what do we do? It's going to be a relatively long run to the end once they have that last cycle. So we just need to see how this all goes down.
Yeah, that's true, because who knows, they could just say screw it and take 2 tires only, or not even take any tires, even though I think that's a bad idea. They could just gamble and try to get a big lead, knowing that it's going to be about 20 laps to go once pit stops happen. So who knows, we've seen some crazy stuff happen before, and here comes Noah Clifton coming down on lap 72.
It's a little bit earlier than I thought it was going to be, but still right within the window. Well, Clifton's going to try some strategy. He's the only one coming down here. He's going to try to get those fresh tires, and I think he wants to get that advantage on Brett Sierra there, because Sierra definitely had an advantage at the end of that run. He wants to jump him here and get ahead of him by quite a bit once we get after this cycle, because I think he knows that Brett Sierra's a faster car, but if he can get an advantage and just try to hold off that advantage, he might have a shot at winning this race.
And now... looks like the only car pitting on lap 74. Nope, never mind. But not that many cars pitting on lap 74 either. Only 4 cars. Well, 5, 6 cars pitting. So not that many cars pitting on lap 74 either. So possibly some strategy. And the longer Brett Sierra stays out, the more that's going to give the 20. Not the 20, but the 0-0 of Noah Clifton the advantage because of those fresh tires.
Yeah, Sierra's losing a lot of time here to Noah Clifton, but at the same time, I think Sierra's thinking there's a very good chance someone could wreck coming down the pit lane, and if that happens, I'm going to be the race leader. I'm going to still have a contention of winning this race. Not going to be the case for Clifton if a caution comes out. So, very widespread pit cycle here. Sierra's yet to come down. He's going to have to see how it all cycles through for him, though, in the number 9 machine.
And now he's going to pit on lap 75. So from lap 72... all the way to lap... oh, never mind. Even
yeah, Vargas
and DeLillo staying out. And those are the last 2 to pit. So it looks like it might be from lap 72 to 76 for these guys to pit.
Number 95, Christian Vargas, he actually won a Chick-fil-A Cup Series Coke 600 on a very similar strategy. Just stayed out, and the caution happened to come out during the last green flag cycle and went ahead and took the race victory away. So Vargas knows how to do it in that type of style, but you're going to have to come down at some point, and nothing happened on that last lap. Looks like it's going to be a clean sweep for these guys on the green flag pit stops. Great job out of these guys keeping it clean. Look at Winslow. He jumped Clifton. Number 37 going to be ahead. There's Brett Sierra. Sierra's going to lose a ton of ground because those guys had come down so much earlier. And look at where Sierra's going to be. He's way off the pace now. I don't think Sierra's going to win this race. It's going to be between Wensloff and Clifton, most likely, I think.
Yeah, most likely, that's not going to work out for Brett Sierra. But then, again, he's going to have a couple laps of extra tires than everyone else. But I don't think it's going to work out for him. He's just going to run out of time. But here's the thing. We still have a bunch of laps left in this race. Something odd could happen, and we could still get a quick caution here at Charlotte. But right now, it's down to these two cars, Winslow and Clifton, out front here at Charlotte.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if Clifton can get around Winslow. But Winslow, that pit crew has been solid all night long. You know, in my opinion, they win the pit crew of the race. They've had a very strong run. They've gotten their driver up front, but they still got to hold off Clifton here. Brett Sierra, number 9 machine, not even in the top 10. That was a terrible cycle for him. They banked on there being a caution, and it didn't come out. And now I believe he's running in the 12th position right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 12th last time by, but technically 13th. Or maybe not. He might try to get 12th back.
See how many seconds behind is he?
Let's see here. This time by Brett Sierra.
Not inside the top 10. Oh, he's already 9 seconds off.
Yeah, 9 seconds.
And he had the lead, so he had about a second on Clifton. He lost about 10 seconds in that exchange. It was just a very bad strategy on the 90 car. Not the first time the 90 cars had a bad strategy at this racetrack this year. So, tough break there for Brett Sierra. He's not going to be in victory lane most likely unless we get a caution and we bunch these guys back up. But the way this race has gone, I don't think that's going to be the case. It's going to be between Winslow and Clifton most likely. They got 3 seconds on the rest of the field.
Yeah, most likely it's going to come down to Clifton and Winslow. 20 laps to go. The top 10 laps to pit stops. Winslow, Clifton, Quayle, Colin, Williams, Freeze in 6th place now. DJ Reed out of nowhere in 7th. Yepes in 9th. 8th. Roger Wright in 9th, the most recent winner. Looks like he's probably going to get a top 10. And then Nick Kennedy, who was up front before pit stops, he's still inside the top 10. So still a great one for this number 27 of Nick Kennedy.
Yeah, this field was really cycled out. We're just going to have to see. I think this battle for the race win is going to be pretty close, though. And I don't see those guys 15-47 closing in any like they were earlier on. And they don't have as big of a line either to really close in. So at this point, it's going to be between Winslow and Clifton. 19 to go. A little ways before the finish of this one. Anything can happen. Even a caution. We had 2 quick yellows, but we've been green since lap 15. So going to be interesting to see how this one whole plays out.
Because, you know, someone could blow up and stop on the racetrack and cause a caution, or someone can blow up or brake and not get out of the way, and then I'll break into that guy. So it is far from over 18 laps left. That is still a long, long way to go here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And who knows, something could happen to either Clifton or Winslow and hurt them and take them out of this race win. But right now, Clifton's actually trying to run that high side in 3 and 4. So it looks like this track's changing, where these guys are running the high side more in 3 and 4.
Yeah, they definitely are trying to work that outside, get that run. I mean, Clifton's not losing any time to Winslow. But just going to have to see here. I mean, those guys are starting to eat away a little bit. You got the 15 of Wyatt Quayle, only 3 seconds off now. It was about 3.3 not too long ago. So they are getting a little bit closer. But the big question is, do they have enough time? It's 16 to go with the line. I just don't know if they're going to be able to do it. They gained 2 tenths that time. You know, if they keep that up, they could have a shot at possibly winning this race. They got to work together. They got to stay on that single file line if they're going to have a shot at Clifton and Winslow.
Yeah, that's the only way of them possibly catching up to the top two. And now Winslow doing what Clifton was doing on that last cycle, running about half a lane higher than what Clifton's running. So Rose have reversed Clifton to the inside with a great one.
Yeah, that's going to slow those guys down, and if those three guys behind them can just stay in that single file line, they're going to close in even more. It's 2.5 seconds now. You know, Clifton might have wanted to wait before he made this move. Either that or he wanted to get around Winslow and see if he could try to pull away himself, but Winslow is not giving up. They're going to remain side by side. And hello to White, Quail, and these guys behind them. They're going to close in pretty quickly, and they're going to have a shot at this race win. They gained almost a half a second that lap. They're gaining like crazy. They're the fastest cars on the racetrack right now, especially with these guys going side by side.
And they are still side by side, and they're going to catch up to Patrick Smith, but that's not really going to affect anything.
It's going to slow them both down, I think.
Oh.
Clifton's going to get the run. He's going to use Smith as a pick here, but Wenslow's going to stay right with him. And if those three guys, if they stay single file, they gained another half a second. But now Logan Williams, he wants to be the guy who catches up to these guys here. So I don't know if I'd be going side by side quite yet. It helps that Williams has Colin behind him, but they might lose some time now, especially if they end up catching up to Patrick Smith side by side.
And Patrick Smith, he's not as slow. He's a little bit faster now, so they did fit some damage, but he's still a very slow car on the racetrack. But it looks like they're not going to go single file. Well, they are going to go single file. And I thought I saw a caution, but the green lights are still on, so still clean and green.
Even that lap, when they went side by side, they still gained. So I think these guys simply have the speed. Logan Williams, Stephen Colin, Wyatt Quayle. Next time by 11 to go.
This race has plain and simple has been dominated by Chevy, because even still with 11 laps to go, the highest Toyota is in 8th and the highest Ford is in 9th. So Chevy has figured something out here tonight in the 600, because they've been fast all night long.
They definitely have a strong run there for the Chevys here tonight at Charlotte. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure the 15's a Chevy as well. So if that's the case, all Chevys inside the top 5. So it's most likely going to be a Chevy in victory lane here tonight. But they're now a second behind. They're simply faster. Winslow didn't fall off of Clifton either. I think Clifton and Winslow at this point are about even. These three guys behind him are a little bit faster. I'm looking at Logan Williams possibly stealing this race win away. That'd be something. We really haven't seen him inside the top 5 all night. Had a good run off that last cycle of pit stops, and here he is. You can see him, same frame as the 37. Gonna be not too long before he reaches the back bumper of Shane Winslow for second. Possibly even the back bumper of Clifton for the race lead.
And here's the thing. The last 2 races in the Powerway Truck Series, we had a part-time driver win. So it's going to be interesting to see if not only a part-time driver will win for the first time this season in the Rebel Cup Series, but also sweep the night for part-time drivers here at Charlotte on 4th of July.
Oh, and with Winslow going to the inside here, that's going to open the door for Williams to have a shot to the inside of Clifton as well. Clifton's going to hang tough in the outside lane. He does not want Winslow to take that race away, but if I'm Clifton, I almost would have just let him have it and try to keep ahead of Williams, but here comes the 71. He almost had a run to make it 3 wide, but he's going to get to the inside for second. Watch out for Williams, Stephen Colin, Wyatt Quayle. They're going to close in here as well. 5-car battle for the race win.
5-car battle for the race win in the Coca Cola 600 with 7 laps to go here tonight at Charlotte. And any one of these guys has a shot at winning this race. For 4 of them, Winslow, Clifton, Colin, and Quayle, a playoff spot is on the line. But for Logan Williams, he's just out here to try to steal a win from one of these full-timers in the biggest race, or one of the biggest races on the season. But these guys, all single file. Winslow out front with 6 laps to go, and Logan Williams.
Got it. Got to run. Logan Williams to the inside of Shane Winslow for the race lead. 6 to go for the 71.
But Winslow hanging on strong on that top side. But I don't know if he's going to be able to hang on to it. We've seen that bottom be really strong. And Winslow is trying to get that high side working, but it's not going to look. Logan Williams is going to steal it. 5 laps to go. Can he hang on and win the second crown jewel race on the season?
Yeah, Winslow still has a shot, though. That 37, I think, is hanging pretty strong with the 71. Winslow pulled a slight gap on Clifton there. Only 5 laps to go. You know, you just got to be patient. You still have a shot at getting around him. I don't think the 34 is going to be an issue. I think he's far enough ahead and he's fast enough where it's not going to be an issue for these race leaders. You got Clifton there.
Oh!
Whoa, and 47 almost got into him. I think Clifton's used up his stuff. These 3 guys here, I don't think they're going to have a shot. Winslow's going to try back to the inside. He does not want this win to be stolen from him.
Honestly, I think it's going to come down to a full-timer and a part-timer. But I don't know, with these guys going side by side, that might allow Clifton to catch back up. But
Williams going to hang stuff on the outside there. Winslow knew he did not want to go side by side through the corner. But that still slowed those guys up. You got Clifton now up to 3rd. 3 to go.
3 laps to go, and the Coca Cola sits under the longest race on the season. And the second crown jewel race on the season is going to come down to Williams, Winslow, and maybe Noah Clifton in the number 00.
See if he can close in here. Winslow lost a little bit of ground. If Williams can get a good drive off the corner, he might have a shot at pulling away with this thing, but Winslow is still there. All he's got to do is beat him at the line. Doesn't necessarily have to clear him for the pass. All he's got to do is beat him at the line. He's got 2 laps to do it here at Charlotte.
The 2 best cars all night long, Winslow and Clifton, they might not even get the race win with Logan Williams coming out of nowhere. And he might have a good shot at this race win, but we still have 2 miles left. Coming to the white flag, final lap at not Chicagoland, but Charlotte, I should say. Final lap in the 2020 Coca Cola sits on who will win race number 8 on the season.
Shane Winslow's going to try here on the 71. But I think Williams is just holding that line. He's got the faster race car. If Winslow can get a good one off the corner here, have a shot in the 3, he might have a chance, but it's going to be tight. I think Williams is going to get it.
If Williams does not get tight in 3 and 4, he's going to get it, and he will. A part-time driver is going to steal it here at Charlotte. Logan Williams will win the Coca Cola 600.
Good race there. You didn't really see Williams coming out of there with the win, but came through, only led about 5-6 laps in this race. And he's your Coca Cola 600 winner here in the Red Bull Cup Series. Great job of the part-timer. And
part-timers swept the day here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jacob Thibodeau won the 12th race, and now Logan Williams gets the job done here tonight in Charlotte for the Coca Cola 600. But you have to feel bad for Shane Winslow, Brett Sierra, and Noah Clifton. Those 3 were by far the best 3 cars all night long. But at the end of the night, it came down to the 71 and the 37. And the 71 of Logan Williams got it here tonight at the Coca Cola 600. And Brett Sierra, he pretty much stayed where he was at. He didn't gain anything at all. So, a tough break for Brett Sierra. One of the best cars all night, but he's going to come home in 13th position.
I will say, if you look at the seconds there, he gained about 4 seconds during that run, so he still was faster. Those guys were closing in on each other, but yeah, the big problem for Brett Sear is that he stayed out way too long, and that's what effectively ended his night.
Man, what a Coca-Cola 600. Coca-Cola 600. I can't speak. I've done so many races in the past 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, as of recording, that my mouth is dead. So, but this is all for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Coca-Cola 600, 4th of July, and what a day for the NIOA. And what a week. Just recently got 400 subscribers on Wednesday. So it's been a great week
Hey,
for the NILA.
congratulations.
So thank you guys so much for all of the support, 400 subscribers, and it's gonna be fun this summer. But anyway, Logan Williams gets the job done. Winslow in second, Cohen in third, Clifton in fourth, Quayle in fifth, Perez in sixth, Reed in seventh, Kennedy in eighth, Way in ninth, and Friesen in 10th. Just a dominating performance by Chevy all night long. The highest Ford was Perez, and the highest Toyota was Ray. And that's kind of interesting because all season long, the best team all season has been Joe Gibbs Racing. But tonight, we didn't really see him up front that much tonight, so that's a bit odd. But at the end of the day, Logan Williams gets the job done. 34 cars finished on the lead lap. Oddly enough, Quinton Moore in the 34 car was the last one on the lead lap in 34th position. Bobby Frazier and Jake Galloway 1 lap down. John Andrews 2 laps down, and Patrick Smith 4 laps down. And then Mark Davison, Bronson Minute, Elijah Gordon, and that wild flip for Francois Chastain. They all finished in the garage here at Charlotte for the Coca Cola 600. 2 quick cautions in the first 10 laps, but then we stayed green for about an 85 green flag run to the end. What are the final thoughts for the Season 3 Rebel Cup Series Coca Cola 600?
That was a good race, you know. Of course, we had a really long green flag run, but you really didn't know that Logan Williams was going to be the guy who pulled it off. You know, he had comers and goers. It played a lot like a realistic, real-life race, and maybe not necessarily like a crazy NR race, but it was a solid race. I really enjoyed that. Congratulations, Logan Williams, and they played the strategy perfectly there. You know, Brett Sear didn't, Logan Williams did, and one of them is in victory lane now. It's Logan Williams at 71.
Yeah, Logan Williams, perfect strategy on that final pit stop, and he gets the job done here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And now, that means that he's locked into the All-Star race next weekend with that win. So, he has a chance at getting a reserve for Season 4 of the Rebel Cup Series as well. So that's going to be fun. The next points race for the Rebel Cup Series will be 2 weeks from now at Talladega Super Speedway. That's going to be a blast. But before that, we have the All-Star weekend next weekend at Eldora. Time to do some mudding at Eldora Speedway. That's gonna be fun.
Imagine if that was a super speedway.
Oh boy, that would be something. But that's gonna be fun. Expect the video sometime early next week about all the info for the All-Star race next Saturday night. So thank you guys so much for watching, and congratulations to Logan Williams on getting the job done in the Coca Cola 600. Thanks to Napa Fan for joining me up here in the booth. It was one heck of a race. And until next week for some kilo dirt style racing in the All-Star race, we will see you guys next time. Congrats to Logan Williams, and we will see you guys later. Bye!
Stuck on the ocean floor. I know that I'm stuck